Hello everyone, welcome to the U.S. Immigration News. Donald Trump is watching you. Whether you're a legal immigrant, an undocumented worker, a green card holder, or someone dreaming of making it to the United States, Trump's immigration policies are reshaping lives and futures. And in his second term, the crackdowns have only intensified. From sweeping raids to targeted surveillance, no one is safe from the watchful eye of the Trump administration. If you are liking this video, please hit the bell button, subscribe, and like it so that you may get updates straight to your smartphone. Immigration has always been a cornerstone of Trump's political agenda, but his second term has taken enforcement to new extremes. In just the first 50 days of this year, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, better known as ICE, has made over 32,809 arrests. That's nearly double the number from the same period last year. These arrests include individuals with criminal convictions, as well as those whose only offense is being in the country without proper documentation. Cities across America are feeling the weight of these actions. Sanctuary cities like Boston, Denver, Chicago, and New York are under federal scrutiny for their refusal to cooperate with ICE detainer requests. In Boston alone, ICE recently conducted a 6-day operation that resulted in over 370 arrests. While many of those detained had criminal records or pending charges, others were swept up for minor infractions or simply overstaying their visas. Critics argue that these operations are less about public safety and more about creating fear in immigrant communities. In Huntsville, Alabama, ICE carried out a targeted operation that led to the arrest of 13 individuals identified as criminal illegal aliens. Among them was Cesar Polanco, a Dominican national who had previously been deported after serving time for violent crimes. These high-profile cases are being used by the administration to justify its aggressive tactics. But what about those who don't fit this profile? What about families who've lived here for decades but now find themselves torn apart by these raids? The southern border has become a focal point for Trump's immigration agenda. The administration has declared a national emergency to justify deploying military personnel and implementing advanced surveillance technologies like drones and facial recognition systems. Asylum seekers, many fleeing violence and persecution, are being turned away under policies that critics say violate both U.S. law and international obligations. The administration's enhanced vetting policies have also created significant challenges for those seeking legal pathways into the U.S. Applicants from so-called high-risk countries face extended administrative processing and heightened scrutiny during visa interviews. These measures have led to delays and denials for thousands of individuals who meet all legal requirements but are caught in bureaucratic red tape. For undocumented immigrants already living in the U.S., fear has become a daily reality. ICE has issued over 6,338 detainers in just 1 week this year, a tool used to hold individuals for deportation proceedings. Families are being separated as enforcement quotas drive indiscriminate tactics. Deportation numbers are expected to rise dramatically under Trump's promise of creating the largest deportation program in American history. And it's not just about crossing borders anymore. The Trump administration is targeting foreign students and faculty for their political activities. Reports show that at least 8 individuals, including green card holders, have been detained or had their visas revoked for alleged ties to activism deemed contrary to U.S. interests. Meanwhile, detention centers are expanding rapidly under Project 2025, a policy agenda designed to double the number of immigrants held in detention at any given time. With over 41,169 individuals currently detained, a 3.7% increase from last year, ICE is pushing for mandatory deportations regardless of public safety risks or flight concerns. Project 2025 also seeks to eliminate protections for vulnerable groups like dreamers and recipients of temporary protected status, TPS. Nearly 700,000 TPS holders could lose work authorization and face deportation under these proposals, alongside hundreds of thousands who fled conflict zones like Ukraine. The expansion of e-verify systems is another cornerstone of Trump's immigration agenda. While intended to ensure that employees are eligible to work in the U.S., these systems have proven error-prone, disproportionately affecting people of color and shutting out eligible workers from employment opportunities. Trump's policies also call for deeper collaboration between local police and federal immigration authorities. States refusing cooperation face penalties like restricted access to motor vehicle databases and voter registration records, further entangling immigration enforcement with everyday life. And then there's surveillance, the quiet but powerful tool being used against immigrants across all categories. The Trump administration has expanded social media monitoring programs targeting visa applicants, green card holders, and even naturalized citizens suspected of fraud or misrepresentation during their application process. But resistance is growing against these measures. Advocacy groups like the ACLU have filed lawsuits challenging executive orders that cut off access to asylum protections and attempt to end birthright citizenship. A move blocked by federal judges after widespread backlash from immigrant rights organizations. These policies aren't just numbers, they're stories of real people whose lives have been upended by this administration's actions. Take Maria Lopez, an undocumented mother from Texas who was detained during an ICE raid while dropping her children off at school, a place once considered off-limits for enforcement operations. Or Ahmed Khan, a Pakistani student who lost his visa after attending a peaceful protest on his college campus. So whether you're a student on a visa, an undocumented worker trying to make ends meet, or even a green card holder who thought you were safe, Donald Trump's immigration machine is watching you. These latest actions demonstrate an administration determined to reshape America's immigration landscape through fear and force.
We have a major breaking update. President Trump's administration has ordered a temporary halt on finalizing certain green card applications, even for immigrants who have already filed their adjustment of status petitions with USCIS. The move follows an executive order signed on January 20th, directing immigration agencies to implement enhanced vetting procedures aimed at national security and public safety. This pause will impact individuals undergoing legal permanent residency processing, including some refugees, asylees, and visa holders already inside the United States. The Department of Homeland Security says the additional screening is necessary to ensure no threats slip through under previous review processes.
That's all we have for this bulletin. The U.S. Immigration News Channel provides all necessary visa information and procedures for your U.S. immigration journey. It is important to understand the United States immigration processing steps, visa application requirements, processing times, forms, fees, and more. We will continue to provide all information about U.S. visitor visas, such as B1 and B2, work visas such as L1A, L1B, and H1B, student visas, green cards, immigrant visas, EB1, EB2, EB3, EB4, and EB5, and family immigrant visas. Thank you for visiting us today, and we'll see you in the next video. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe to the channel for more U.S. immigration update videos.